So is LinkedIn worth founders getting into for lead generation? How can they even start doing stuff today to make sure they can start growing on LinkedIn? And what are the routines that they can follow in order to start doing this? And in this video, I'm going to be covering all of those questions. So the first thing is first is, well, why LinkedIn, right? What's the point of actually doing that? Why not other platforms like X or Instagram, or what's the other one? Facebook, right? Why those? Actually, why LinkedIn? Well, the thing is that LinkedIn is such a good platform in the sense that it's got pretty much all of the ideal clients you want all on that platform. Because assuming you are a service-based founder that's watching this, yeah, sure, your ideal clients might be on these platforms. However, they're going to most likely be situated on LinkedIn purely more just for that business and networking type of style. However, the issue is that these platforms tend to be more entertainment based and they still can be good for business. I'm not going to deny that. However, LinkedIn can actually be a bit better for that as a whole. So really, that's the first thing. The second thing I want to then talk about is, well, how can you actually start with LinkedIn, right? How can you start actually being able to use LinkedIn to generate leads? Well, for me, I find the best way to do this is you first want to then be able to build your personal brand. Now, personal brand is obviously a word that's been thrown about a load, but really, the way I see it is just a way of being able to just have your presence somewhere where people can just discover you as a person. They can see more about just, who you are, what you do, how you do it. They can learn a bit more about, I suppose, just what you stand for, and obviously, it can just help you build more authority. And when you can build more authority in what you're doing, you can show that. Then that naturally will obviously lead to just be able to get more leads as a result. So, what actions would I encourage you to start focusing on first? Well, the first things first is arguably going to be your offer, because I mean, you obviously know how important your offer is. However, what I mainly see huge problems with is one being offer clarity, and the other one being transformation. And bearing in mind my spelling is not incredible, but that's not the point. So, why do I say both of these? Well, it's very, very easy to try and be clever with things, and in result you end up causing confusion, because bearing in mind, right, as natural as it is, you're going to have competitors in your space naturally, and so you're naturally going to start thinking about ways you can stand out or phrase things to make yourself stand out more. However, when it comes to that, oftentimes I see service-based founders will end up trading clarity literally for just confusion, where they simply will just, when they're looking at their profile, and when an ideal client comes to look at your profile, they just don't really know what you do. Which, if they don't really know what you do or who you help or how you do it, and they're just a bit confused, like if they can't immediately point to it and be like, that's what they do, then you're obviously already having a problem. And even with the transformation side of things, what is it that actually they can expect to gain, right? What is the benefit that they're going to get from this? And just, from you. And genuinely, I find that if you can, at least on the outside, make your offer just super clear in terms of who you help, what you do, and how you do it, and also make the transformation slash the benefit in terms of where they could go, so from where they are to where they want to be. If you can make both of those really clear on, say, your LinkedIn profile, and even just maybe the way you talk about your offer as well, I think you're going to be pretty sorted when it comes to just being able to really get out there with clarity. Now, the second thing I look to then focus on would probably then be your outreach. So, obviously, no one really likes doing outreach with LinkedIn. No one likes doing it. Um, and that simply is that. Sometimes conversations are cool, but when you're doing outreach more to, I suppose, get business and get clients, there's always going to be a bit of friction there. Maybe you sort of feel like you potentially come across as salesy, which then just sort of means that it's a lot more difficult for you to basically book and chat calls with. And this is completely fair enough, right? So What we want to try and do is we want to try and chat with as warm leads as possible, right? And I find the best way to do this are with people which I like to call intent based leads. And intent based leads are almost people that have made the first move towards you. So this will be people that have, say, engaged with your content, so have liked it or commented on it. These are people that have viewed your profile, which you're able to see obviously on LinkedIn, or people that have maybe sent you a connection request as well. Because these are the people that have actively seen, like seen your profile, right? They've seen maybe more about who you are, if they've engaged with your content, then they've consumed that, which means they've recently seen you and maybe they've had a few thoughts going through their head about you. Chances are probably, right? And what this means is that it means that from either one of these, you can then start a conversation, right? You can start a conversation and it gives you an excuse to reach out because I'm sure you've been reached out to before by people. And the first question you really had in your head is, where did you even find me? How did you even come across me? And those sort of conversations. So, really, from there, it's like, well, if we can take these people that are in this sort of bracket here, then start this chat with them or at least connect with them if you haven't already, then really we just get into the actual conversation, which other words is going to be your sell by chat phase. And long story short, right, bearing in mind what we've just gone through is we've gone through the fact that when it comes to outreach, you want to look for the intent based leads, right? We're looking for the people that have liked our content, have viewed our profile, and have sent a connection request. Then from there, if they're not already a connection, we then want to send them a connection request there. And then we want to send a first message. Now, the first message doesn't have to be anything crazy. Honestly, I usually like just to simply share, sort of just, like I try and make it personalized. I try and share, say, where I found them, if it's relevant. And then I just like to ask a broad question, right? And usually I want to try and center this question in relation to their goals, right? And the thing is that actually these people aren't stupid, right? Because when they see your sort of headline, your LinkedIn headline, which they'll be able to see, and when they look at your profile, they'll have a pretty good idea of what you're here for. However, if you're coming across as genuine and you're trying to start conversation, you're trying to ask those questions, and if they feel comfortable, responding with you, then that's going to make the conversation a lot easier. Now, what we don't want to do in these conversations is try and start selling because that is not really going to help any of us. And the funny thing, even if this person came to you and was interested, I still wouldn't try and sell. Just because you want to take them through the sell by chat process, which is going to basically help you better chat and book calls with ideal client. Now, I do have a video covering this sell by chat process in a lot more depth if you want to see that, which I'll probably link somewhere up there or maybe somewhere below the video. But really, once we've then done that, right? Because bearing in mind, what we've covered obviously a brief overview of why we need our offer to be good, and even in terms of outreach as well. Because to be fair, with these two alone, I genuinely think you're going to be just fine with LinkedIn. However, the one last thing I like to cover is also content. And you're probably well aware of why content is good. But in terms of content, really, I like to focus on being able to make sure this is consistent, but I like to focus on three core areas, right? I like to focus on targeting three different types of people because you'll find that all of your audience isn't ready to buy, right? They're not all in the same situation, but they can pretty much be categorized into this. Do you got problem unaware, problem aware, and solution aware people? And what's quite cool with this is that each of these people need to be told or need to hear something or need to see something that will help shift their awareness and take them one step closer to solving this problem, right? So people that are problem unaware, they need to hear something or they need to hear or see something to realize they even have a problem, and they're going to go straight to here. And then the people that are problem aware, which probably, maybe have tried a few things before but haven't found a good solution. Once they see a good solution or something like that, then they're going to move to solution aware. And then people that are solution aware are usually just pretty much trying to find a way to actually apply that solution and get it going, which will usually mean that they'll then go to work with you being somewhere in the middle. However, the really cool thing with this type of content is that it doesn't have to go in that circle. Because the funny thing is, if people are problem unaware, and then your content helps them become aware of a problem they didn't realize, they might want to reach out and work with you. Same with problem aware. If you've made them realize a solution that genuinely seemed logical and it really, ties in with where they are, they might go straight to the middle. So what you find there is that you don't have to just create this like sales content to get leads, right? And this is the thing that I used to think, right? I used to think that, oh, okay, well, if I have this little personal, like these few personal posts over here, and I have a few authority posts over here, and then like once a week we just chuck in a sales post or something, then that's probably okay. Instead, with this method, you can sell with all of your content because all of it is helping your ideal client go from just that sort of state of awareness right now to where it wants to be. So that's going to be really, really useful for you. And in terms of how I'd really spread that out, I'd usually look at being able to try and do it pretty evenly, right? So if I were posting 7 times a week, I might do two on problem unaware, I might do two on problem aware, and then I might do two on solution aware, and then just one as a personal post, just to add a bit of personality and such in there as well. But overall, I believe that if you are trying to get leads from LinkedIn, that really those are the three core areas you need to focus on, right? Your offer, your outreach, and your content. Because like, yeah, sure. There are automations, there are sales funnels, there are all sorts of other things you can do. I'm not going to say that they're not useful because they can be useful. However, for simplicity's sake, these are the only three areas I recommend you should focus on. Now, if you're looking to actually get more support with this, I do actually have a free school community which you can join below, which really is just purely for service-based founders that are looking to get more clients from LinkedIn with just simple strategies that really anyone can use and follow. So if that's obviously you and that sounds like you'd be interested in that, then make sure to take a look and see if that would benefit you more. But overall, that is pretty much my opinion on if it's actually, if LinkedIn is relevant for like founders that are trying to get leads from it, because I think really it's relevant for pretty much anyone, right? Because your ideal clients are, chances are, if you're like service based, they're gonna be on there, right? And they might even be promoting their own services and such. But they're gonna be on there, and the people that you can connect with are definitely going to be of in need of the stuff that you have. And comparing it to other platforms which are supposedly maybe more casual, this is definitely the platform you want to be on. And LinkedIn's really shifted from this place which just seemed to be like resumes and hiring, which it still is, but it's really shifting from this place to actually more of a place where you can build your personal brand and really become a bit of a thought leader and actually attract those ideal clients as well.